share the link to anybody. It's YouTube and on Facebook.
I'm gonna share it to my practice group.
Awesome. Ladies and gentlemen, we'll get started in a few moments. Welcome to the show. How's the audio on my end, by the way?
It is pretty good. Pretty good.
All right, cool.
Sounds good for me. I don't know about people listening, but
we got nobody watching as of yet. In time. I know. I think Brandon Allen's show goes on around the same time, so
yeah,
I'm not expecting too many people to log off from his show to come on to mine, but maybe we'll go on a little longer because I know Craig's got an early night. 4 o'clock comes early.
Mm. Oh, he's waking up at 4 o'clock? Or?
Yeah, he's got to wake up at 4 o'clock.
What's he do for work?
Guess we're going to find that out. Not entirely sure. Oh, we got 2 people watching now. Thank you for tuning in. We'll get started in a few moments. Got a couple other guests that we're looking to join us. How's everybody's weekend? Hope everyone's weekend was good. I hope you had a good, safe one. Let's take a look at the chat. Oh, no, nothing. For those of you on Facebook, this is also live on YouTube. Feel free to click the link and subscribe to the channel. I'll be highlighting the other guest channels on this channel as well. All right.
All right, I shared it to Facebook group chat.
Cool.
Local pullers.
Very nice. Very nice. Are you did you share the Facebook or the YouTube?
I shared the Facebook.
Okay. Gotcha. Yeah, that's showing. Let's see if looks like Craig is on his way in. Give him a moment or two. We'll get started in a moment. Can let more people log on. Waiting for another guest, Craig Soubler. I hope I pronounced your name right and didn't butcher it. I'm known for that.
I was just going to ask, how long does the show usually go?
Mine routine an hour and a half. So if you need to hop off earlier, feel free to do so.
Probably around 9:30, just because I have finals tomorrow and stuff.
Oh, snap! You should be studying.
Well, I'll give myself enough time to study. Arm wrestling first.
Arm wrestling. Well, I mean, priorities, right? Well, I hope you do well in your test, man.
Thank you. I hope so as well.
All right. Wonder if Craig's having issues logging on. Yeah, just click the link. Hey, what's up, Drew? What's up, David? David wants to know what happened in 154. Did no one show up?
All right, so I'll get into this because I was there.
Before you get into it, this is Aiden LeMay out of Massachusetts. He is an amazing up-and-coming puller, young stud. He does refereeing. He does polling. He helps organize events. He does it all. This man is quite the maven at the table and in the arm wrestling community locally. He was just at the New York Arm Wars by Tri-State Arm Wrestling New York. And he was working the event and competing the event. So give us a little bit of information about how that went.
All right. So since it was asked, the 154 class, we'll start there just because it was a question. So Derek Doble was the only person that entered the 154 class. Chris Michaels usually competes at 154, but he's been trying to bulk up a little bit. So he weighed in at 161 on purpose because he was drinking a bunch of water and stuff. He was telling me about how delicious his pancakes were. So usually there probably would have been two, but Chris bulked up. So Derek was the only entry. You got a few other pullers that sometimes compete 154 that pulled 176, like Eric Fisk. There's someone else that I'm forgetting, but there were 154 pullers there. They just didn't want to cut to 154. So yep, Derek was the only entry to 154. He ended up pulling up 2 classes. I guess just because he wanted to pull 2 classes that day. So 176 had a good amount of entries. I'm going to say 7, maybe more. 198 had, I think, 6 or 7 also. 220, a little bit less, 3 or 4. And it got thinner and thinner as it went up. But there were a good amount of entries in the lighter weight classes.
I think I saw somewhere it was about like 140 plus entries.
I think that
between amateur and pros.
I think around 140 was the amount that they got, which, I'm hoping for a little bit higher next time. Honestly, an awesome event. And I was kind of, it's not my direct event. Obviously, I'm helping out with it, but it was such an awesome event. It was done at 5:30. Which you can't say about a lot of events. And maybe you could say that because of the small entry amount, but still 140 entries isn't like a tiny tournament. It's a decent sized tournament.
For a second to go around too, it's only the second tournament. So
only second tournament.
Only
second tournament. It was very well put together. I don't know if you got to look at the medals, but the medals were super cool.
I did. I wish I actually made it up there to enter, because I wanted to take one of those home.
Yeah, they're pretty cool. Steve Walker was saying he was like, "Oh, I didn't see the medals in person. He wasn't going to enter, but he's like, when he saw the medals, he's like, well, I have to enter now." But yeah, medals were super cool. Cash payouts for first place, and just an awesome local event.
There we go.
How's it going?
We got Craig in the house. What's up, Craig?
Hey, what's up, man? Sorry, I finally figured this out.
It's quite all right. No worries. This new age, newfangled technology is stumping me left and right, man. We're just going over a New York Arm Wars event that they just had this weekend.
Awesome.
140-ish entries for the second tournament that this outfit ran. And I think that's a pretty good number for a tournament that an organization that just got created. Oh, we just lost him. Oh no, lost connectivity.
I think I still hear him.
I'm still here, but yeah, I see my camera. I don't know what happened here. I just clicked to see where my mic was, and then my camera disappeared.
Oh, no.
Weird.
Yeah, we can hear you loud and clear. Well, we are so tell us more about it, Aiden.
Yep. So honestly, 140, pretty happy with that turnout for not only East vs. West that day, but also lesser known event, but the Vermont Shield event was that day also. And that's for the top middleweight, lightweight, and heavyweight place in Vermont. So that was the same day. And usually some of the Vermont guys come on down. So, honestly, I'm not Steve, but I'd be pretty happy with the amount of entries he got. It was super well put together, free fruit food. All the pullers that I talked to about it really enjoyed it, and yeah, just good stuff for next time.
I definitely saw something that I've never seen at a tournament since I've been pulling. I mean, I'm fairly new in the sport myself. I've only been in it for just under 4 years, but they had an IV drip bar there as well.
Yeah, I don't know a whole lot about that, but they had like some discount or something for athletes that wanted to end up getting an IV bag, or I don't really know how that stuff works, but hydration, stuff like that.
So I'm pretty familiar with IV drip. It's a great way to hydrate post-workout, post-competition, or even pre, because especially if you're dehydrating for cutting weight, at water weight, you lose a lot of that water and a lot of that liquid, and you need to rehydrate pretty quickly, and drinking that doesn't quite cut it sometimes. So you just got to get that IV fluid into the body very, very quickly, and they have a pretty good system. I don't know that company specifically, but I always speak highly of receiving IV drips, when you're having trouble hydration. Oh, here we go. And here we have the man from, I'm guessing his car. Hey, Steve, I got you on. Oh, he hopped back off. I guess his screen couldn't go on. But yeah, no, it's they definitely had they had the food there, they had a lot of merch out, a lot of good shirts. I was definitely looking forward to, I picked up one of the shirts. There we go. There's Steve. Talk a little bit more about your event, man.
Hey man, what's going on? Sorry, I didn't even hear anything. I was trying to log on and the camera was kind of going in and out, but what's going on? How's everything going?
You're here now.
I'm here now.
We were just talking about the good number of entries, all the different perks that your event had, the IV drips, the free food, the merch that you had going on.
Yeah, man. Absolutely, man. I appreciate everybody that's out there. Thank you so much for Dan coming out for the after pulls. I appreciate it. Same thing, Ademan. I appreciate, man. You and Yusuf always coming out, and I was looking at the videos over again, man. You are a monster, dude. You are an absolute beast, left and right Aiden. So I give you a lot of props. But in general, I just want to thank so much everybody for being so supportive on everything, for supporting me and Ivan through this whole thing. And yeah, man, the event was great. It was about I'd say probably around 3 times bigger. We had Drip Lounge there, a lot of obviously clothes there, hoodies and shirts and everything like that. 2 tables. We had Dave Shell on the brackets with Tracy Walker, which they were both absolutely wonderful. And so was Steve Walker was on the table too as well, with Ivan Marrero, my partner. And we have Yusuf going in and out, Nick Stone going in and out of Reffin too. And Crazy Train too was helping us out, Anthony, which he's great, man. But I just want to thank everybody for coming out, man. Thank you so much.
Yeah, dude, your event was amazing. I caught the tail end of it. I didn't get up there until about 3:30 because I was working. But the energy was high. There was a lot of people that were just eager to be there. And I gotta say, the after pull was a lot of fun too.
Yeah.
I went. I think I was one of the people that kicked it off with Roger. I definitely, I know Craig has his bouts with Roger learned. But I was able to show a little bit of what I got. Maybe I showed all of what I got. Who am I kidding? I showed everything I had, left it all in Roger's arms. I think he took my arm back to PA with him.
Yeah, he's a beast, man. Roger is a beast, man. He really is.
But it was a fun after pull. Definitely a lot of pulling. I think I pulled like maybe 15 different people throughout that time frame, and each one was stronger than the next.
Yeah. Honestly, dude, you're a beast, man. I was waiting to pull you to see how you felt, man. You're an absolute beast too, man. Honestly, just to hold you, just to see what you were like. I mean, it was nice, man. Honestly, everybody was out there was just fuck, dude. Even I was looking at Yusuf, dude. He's a monster, man. Yusuf is an absolute monster, just like you, Aiden. You guys don't stop. I've never seen 2 people literally anywhere and everywhere they go, they just start putting their arms up like
the diner afterwards.
They come out of nowhere. They're like, come here.
I mean, it helps that they're full of piss and vinegar. They're what, in 20s, early 20s? I wish I was in my early 20s right now, man.
Man, honestly, whatever it is, whatever they have inside of both of them, honestly, Aiden and Yusuf, they're literally at each other all the time. Aiden is putting his hand up and he's like, let's go to the back quick. So yeah, I gotta say that.
So, I mean, before we move on to what happened at East vs. West, any plans? What's next for Tri-State Arm Wrestling?
We're still thinking about a couple things, me and Ivan, see if what we're gonna do. We're thinking about doing something outside. Doing something maybe in July. Not 100% yet. It was just kind of like a discussion. Is really what I'm trying to do. But we want to keep it in that high, nice environment. Either it's got to be really nice outside, beautiful. Trying to do some barbecues and everything at the same time. And always, our main thing is free food. Come to our event. We'll take care of you. Free drinks always. And as you guys seen, always the food is top notch. And a bunch of different types of food. Not only like you're thinking about just a bunch of buffalo wings. You've seen, you guys were there. It was full of empanadas, pizzas, little hot dog, everything. We had everything, and the drinks also were on the house too. So
it's important to offer that. That's something very cool. I gotta say, I came there hungry, left there full.
Yeah, yeah, definitely.
All right, so Craig, tell us. I heard there was some crazy polling happening over at East vs. West down in Florida in your neck of the woods.
Yes, that's correct, man. And it was a really great event. I was trying to, I don't know if you guys watched the live stream at all, but it was kind of fading in and out. So I was getting frustrated a little bit, but the finals, the stream worked perfect. So it was great. The women, of course, they came in strong. He had the two of the best women on the planet. I mean, Sarah and Gabby. So they won their divisions. I forget the girl that's really jacked from Texas. She won her class.
Elizabeth.
Yeah, Elizabeth. She's new to the game, but she looks really impressive. And I'm not sure about the 165 class. I was talking about this on my live stream yesterday, and I think it was some Canadians were in that final.
Okay.
And
it was one of the guys from Ukraine who ended up moving to Canada.
That's right. Yeah, I had commented. I said, if you see a guy showing up in a Ukraine jersey, you're in trouble. You know what I'm saying? Those guys, they don't mess around at all. So, yeah, and then, of course, Artem, I think the guy he lost to, Ali, I think his name is, he's a monster in Canada, too. I think he pulled Justin Bishop a few years back, and Justin smacked him, but he's a really high-level Canadian puller. So Artem is super impressive, man. Like, left-handed, like, the cardio that he has, the endurance, it's just crazy. Like, I thought he was done for, and then he still like makes it a war, so but he's ended up
like that. He's definitely tricky like that.
Yeah, for sure, dude. And he won, he came second left and then won the right hand.
Wow.
Yeah, so he won that pretty dominant. His right is really on another level. I mean, I used to crush him all the time, and we're kind of back and forth now, so it's interesting to watch these Russians, man, just elevate, because Florida, we have them. And, speaking of that, Andre, he and Jerome Loud, man. I mean, I don't know if you guys are real familiar with him.
I know him, yeah.
Yeah, he's such a monster. He's not on social media. It's funny, though. He did make a comment on the video I posted on my Instagram, and he was complaining about the refs. He really wasn't happy with that ref. So, and that's not even like him. I didn't even know he was on the gram, to tell you the truth, because he never has any social media presence at all. So, but he wasn't happy. I could tell that he was frustrated. There wasn't any handshakes in between the matches and stuff. So, but Andre looked real dominant. That guy, man, he's just friggin' leaps and bounds. Just incredible, his progress. So And then we had the 105 kg, or no, sorry, that was the supers, 105 kg plus. And Carl Stanley was in there with a guy named Wallace. I forget his last name.
Diley or Dilly.
Yeah, that's it. Yeah. So I never really saw that guy much, but like I was talking to Passmore on Sunday about it, and the supers, it's crazy how you see all these monsters just coming out of the woodwork now, because with the Brian Shaws and the
Yeah.
Larry Wheels and stuff, but all these freaks like now Leonidas, like it's just crazy. So the more these guys are in the sport, the more all these crazy, farm guys are just showing up. Like this guy was just a monster, yelling and screaming, real intense. I mean, it was really really awesome. And Carl's he's really strong right now. So, and he ended up winning the right hand. So the left, I can't remember who won the left, actually. I think it was Carl and someone else, but whoever, I forget who won the left hand supers. It's escaping me right now. But
well, we got Paul Lynn in the chat saying, "What's up, fellas?" He was there. Maybe he can let us know who won that left-handed supers.
I'll tell you in a second here. I'm going to look it up. I saw they made a post and it had all the winners on there. So
while he's doing that,
Wallace Dilly won both hands.
Oh,
so
he did.
Yeah, he beat Victor, Gabby's boyfriend. So,
okay.
And yeah, so
and he's an accomplished puller too.
Yeah, no, he's a really good puller. So yeah, man. So it was a really great event. It was really high quality matches. There was I forgot too, man. And Ryan would kick my ass. Ryan and Caleb Riggs, they were in the 209. I knew I forgot a class, the 209 class, which is kind of like, these guys are anywhere from, 220. I know Ryan was pretty heavy, but him and Caleb, man, they had a war. It was back and forth, and Ryan got the win, which is great. And I was kind of paying attention because those guys are in my weight class, so I like to see where those guys are, competing at. And then the left hand, Caleb, actually, Victor, I guess this guy from, I think it was from Brazil. I'm not quite sure, but I think he won the left hand. So, but yeah, it was a great event. It was really interesting, the quality. Some guys weren't there, some heavy hitters, but overall was really good quality. And the FAL is doing some really good things here. They have the East versus West Challenger Series coming up on June 15th here in Orlando, and it's going to be really good. Some really super high-level matches, really interesting matches, and I'm looking forward to that as well.
Definitely going to be a great event. Yeah, I mean, Florida is always a good place to pull. I haven't been able to make it down there to pull, but it's on my bucket list in the not so distant future. Maybe in the next year or so, that will definitely be on my radar.
Let me know when you want to go, Dan. I'll go down with you, bro.
Hell yeah, man! We'll take a road trip.
Yeah, definitely. I've never pulled in Florida. I'd like to pull in Florida. That'd be nice.
And I apologize, Craig, because I know we jumped right into with you talking, but I didn't even introduce you to my audience.
You're fine.
So this is Craig Subler, the bearded wisdom dude. This guy has got the ultimate motivational videos across all the platforms.
Nice.
Tune in. I'm going to be sharing links with it all down below.
I'm all about motivational videos and positivity, so I definitely want to check out your page.
Oh yeah, awesome. Absolutely. Definitely check his page. Give him a follow. He will get you off your ass and working your ass off. You don't need to see anything else.
Hey, what's up to my partner Ivan? And I just want to say, nobody not stopped Nick Stone. He was an absolute beast, absolute monster. Nobody stopped Nick Stone at all. I don't think it was even close, to tell you the truth. He ran through everybody.
Yeah, Nick is one of those guys, like I said, like, these huge freaks of nature and strength, and they just show up out of nowhere.
Yeah, man.
And they start crushing Ayala, and then all of a sudden, now look at the level. Now he's learned how to arm wrestle. I saw him at Worlds, and and that was only, I think, maybe second or third time he was on the table competitively. So he's going to be one of those guys, man. You're going to see over at East versus West, and
Yeah.
a lot of people don't know who he is, but they're gonna recognize for
They're
sure.
gonna know who he is soon as
They're gonna know.
they're
They're gonna wake up.
Dude,
They're
the
gonna
other
wake
thing
up,
is too is that
definitely.
he doesn't it doesn't matter who comes up to the table, even if he literally gives everything in at whoever, you know what I mean? And he is honestly the nicest guy, dude. He's the nicest guy. I mean, he's such a nice guy, honestly. But when he goes to the table, there is no fucking joking around across the table with him, man. He's serious. He's serious.
Scary. It's scary.
Yeah.
Very intimidating. Yeah.
Yeah, I'd have to say.
Beast of a human.
But he's such a nice guy. Like if you're off the table, the guy is completely like, oh man, thank you so much. He's the nicest guy, man. He really is.
So who else was a big time surprise for us at the New York Arm Wars?
I would say Diamond, man. He was I haven't really seen him much or anything like that. I don't know if you remember him, Aiden. Diamond, guy with the glasses, a little bit heavier. About I think he pulled 220s and then supers, and I was surprised.
Alex?
No, Alex is a monster. Yeah, no, but I was saying Diamond. He looked like a much smaller guy. He looked like an older guy and everything out with glasses, but he was an absolute monster, man. He was going up against Steve Walker. You know what I mean? And that's the only person that I seen that would actually give Steve Walker. I want to say gave anything really to Steve Walker, but I would say after Steve Walker, that was the only person that I could see, that was in there besides him. You know what I mean? Yeah. He was an older guy. I've never really seen him. I just remember last name was Diamond, and now where's this guy coming from? And I was just
told him.
Yeah.
198 guy.
Yeah. He was strong, dude.
He Kings moved me. That's dirty. That's filthy.
We don't need no controversy over here.
But yeah, he was very strong.
Yeah, he was real strong, man. He came out of nowhere. I did not expect it from him. You know what I mean? And like I said, I don't really know him, so but in general, it seemed like he was a pretty powerful guy for size, man. It really was.
So we got a question from the chat actually for you, Craig. How's your arms feeling? This guy Drew24 from the Arizona area. He wants to know that you've been dealing with some issues with them.
Well, besides breaking my arm twice and tearing the bicep off and fracturing my radius on my left side, it's really getting better. And then I decided that I wasn't going to pull again, and then I decided that I was going to pull, so I ended up almost tearing my pec in a match with Magnus, this little Russian kid that's huge now. So but yeah, my recovery's a lot better. I'm really feeling great. Arms are feeling great, and just trying to stay focused. I got a few events I'm going to pull in, so I just want to stay healthy. When you're older, man, like at 52, and I've been training for like 42 years with weights and arm wrestling for 12 years, so it's like your body takes a beating. But breaking the arm twice and stuff, and it throws your whole dynamic off with your body.
I was going to say, where'd you break it?
I broke my humerus, so in two different spots. So once with Paul Passmore, and then I forget the kid's name, but he's from Washington, big kid. But same kind of move. I was in a hook, kind of behind my shoulder or in front of my shoulder, and just pulling through, and I feel like I'm uncoordinated with my left. So, but my hand is super strong on my left side. So it's nice to be able to, pull with it, but it gets injured. It kind of throws you off, and then it screws everything up for my right arm, so.
Couldn't even fucking imagine, dude. I hope you heal up, man. That's
yeah. I'm feeling really good now. So I feel like, the best is yet to come for me this year. I feel really healthy, and so we'll see.
You gonna pull again?
Yes. Yeah, I'm gonna pull again.
Okay, good. Nice.
Looking forward to seeing that, man. Looking forward to seeing that. Seeing you back at the table.
Yeah, I'm gonna pull in a couple weeks at Brandon Morse has an event with Flow Arms. So I'm gonna do that. And then I have a super match June 15th with Austin Collins. He's a kind of an up and coming kid that I just pulled at an event here a few weeks ago. and we had a really good war. I got away with some elbow fouls and stuff, but I got the victory. Yeah, so we're going to pull. And then there's some big money events coming in Florida. Sean Hancock's getting together with Brandon August 3rd. There's a big event here. I think it's like pretty local, like Orlando area. So, yeah, there's a lot going on. And then FAL's got everything blowing up. So we got a lot of great events here. So when you guys do make a trip down, let me know, man. And there's a lot of fun things to get into down here.
Nice.
Oh, yeah, man. It sounds like a blast. By the way, everybody, right in the top corner of my screen, you'll see there's a QR code that will bring you right over to Craig's YouTube channel. Go ahead and give him a good subscribe. Follow this man.
Appreciate it, guys. I really do, man.
Yeah, absolutely.
I'll leave that up there for a few moments. But so other than, so I know you said you got a couple events coming up, Craig. Other than that, what else is happening in the Florida area beyond the flow arm and FAL? What's next for FAL?
I think FAL has a few events coming up now. They have that the East versus West, the Challenger Series coming up, and then I think July there's another event, and I think there's an event almost every month. There's a little break here and there, so
that's good.
But yeah, and then Brandon, same thing. He's kind of off months, and then we have a really big tournament. Chuck Westbury, he's been a puller for like, a couple decades here in Florida. He's like a living legend here.
I met him at sit downs.
Okay,
nice dude. Really nice dude.
Yeah, that's right. He went up there. That's right. Yeah. That's the first team I pulled with at Jacksonville when I first got into arm wrestling. So kind of like it's a little sentimental to me, I guess. But yeah, he's got this tournament called the Mayhem in Middleburg.
Okay.
And I think it's like the 7th or 8th one now. And it's a round robin, dude. It's a friggin' monster of a tournament. You got to have some cardio. I won it a couple times, so I'm really adamant on this event, but I'm not going to be able to do it this year. Unfortunately, my kid has a jiu-jitsu tournament at the same day. So, but great event, man. He has I think it had the record for attendance last year, over almost 400 entries. I think it was close to 400.
Nice.
It was crazy.
Oh, damn. That's a big event.
Yeah, it was really long, and they were doing round robin, and it took forever. And then he ended up having to do just traditional for the right hand, because we would have been there till midnight, man. You know what I mean? So it was crazy. So I think maybe running a few more tables and just because a round robin, man, that's a long friggin' tournament. I mean, every class. I mean, that's a friggin'. I forget, we're figuring out it was 600 and some matches to get to our class. And it's it's just crazy. And most of those classes were deep, 15 to 20 deep. So it's crazy. Yeah, it makes for a long day.
Well, I do want to highlight a couple of different events that are coming up local here in the tri-state area. Next up, from that I know to my knowledge, is the Knuckles Up event, which is going to be a killer event by the High Five guys. I'm going to actually I'm going to change out that link that you see at the top. If you scan the QR code right over here, it brings you over to their link tree. All their links that they have available to the Knuckles Up in-person, pay-per-view, and their social media platform. Give them a follow. Check them out. I'm really excited because it's going to be the first time that I'm going to get to one of these events. I've been trying to get to the first two, but life, as you may have it, wasn't going to let it happen. But I'm not gonna lie. I'm as excited as I am to meet the pullers and hang out with the pullers. I'm really excited to meet Aussie arm wrestler because he's gonna be there, and he's one of them. I'm a big fan of his and one of my favorite guys in our sport. I don't know if you guys have followed him, watched him, listened to his podcast, and listened to his shows, but that dude is. He's got his ear to the ground on all things arm wrestling.
Yeah, for sure. And that Knuckles Up is what a great. I watched the last pay-per-view, and what a great event, man. I mean, they have an awesome production. I would love to get an opportunity to compete on that stage one day, man. That's a really high level, the quality that they put into that, and those guys are really doing a great job. And of course, excited to see Jason Murillo pull. I mean, you know, just all these great pullers from New York.
Yeah.
It's amazing. So,
well, we got a former opponent of yours, Roger Learn, taking on Uncle John.
oh yeah, that's right. That should be a good match.
That should be a good. I don't know. I think Uncle John's gonna bit off a little more than he can chew.
Is that
Roger?
right-handed?
I think right hand Rogers got that. Left hand maybe, but I think Rogers got that right hand.
I think so too. I think.
Yeah, I'm gonna go with Roger, man.
Yeah, me too. I agree.
He's a monster, dude. I seen him pull a New Way, man. He's got some serious strength, man, and he's
strong, man. I know firsthand how strong he is. So I'm lucky that I got a win on him, and then I can get away from him for a little bit. Stay away from these big boys. You know, I'm trying to get a little lighter, and even though, I mean, it doesn't really matter once it's over 200. Everybody's amazing. You know, these high level guys, especially these young guys. You know what I mean? Like they're just showing up everywhere. Just it's really great to see the sport really growing. It's amazing. You know, so.
Definitely, man. I can't wait to see actually on Knuckles Up Camille Jablonski, man. He's a fucking beast, dude.
That dude's amazing to watch compete. Yeah. So I'm excited.
I love watching that flat press, man. How quick he is just to put it in, man. It's just so. You guys in the last East First West, he couldn't even. The guy was trying to rip his arm away from that press. You can't, dude. You just can't. Once he turns in, once that shoulder goes in, it's just
over.
That's it.
It's like a bear trap just closing in on you. It
really is, man. You know, kind of reminds me of you, like a smaller version. You're like a small version of him, Aiden. Now you love that shit. You're the first fucking.
You take that all day. That's an amazing compliment.
But Jablonski, he's an absolute beast too. And another one of my buddies too that's going to be on the show is Wayne Withers, man. Wayne Withers.
Wayne, yes.
Oh, yeah, hell yeah. That's gonna be
I had the pleasure for him. You know, I picked him up at the airport. We hung out. We partied. And just to feel his hand, dude, it was just a monster hand, man. It's just on a different level. Like you can't wrap your hand around. It's like a bear's, you know. It's just on a different level. It really is.
I remember my first nationals, and I ended up getting him in my bracket, and man, and this was before he was like even super great. Like now he's phenomenal, but yeah, he just ate my hand up, just crushed it.
Yeah, he's a monster.
Like, yeah, he's a super nice guy, though, man. What a fun guy. So hanging out with him.
Oh yeah,
he's such a fun guy and
he's
such
funny.
a good energy. Good energy.
Oh, always, all the time. That's all it is, man. It's good energy. He's actually just spoke to him today, and his wife and everything, and his kids and everything. So just the whole family, really, you know. But in general, to hang out with them. Watched a couple movies and everything, and just to feel what that power could anywhere come close is oh my god, man! It's just on a different level, man. It really is.
Yep.
And we also got Danielle Evanson going against Nadia. I cannot pronounce her last name, but Nadia's a local puller. I've seen her pull a couple times here in New York, but I've also seen Danielle. You know, I don't know if you guys follow her. She's known as the Health Raiser on Instagram. She's got some insane like powerlifting feats. You know, she looks like a small framed individual, but she's throwing up some insane weight. I know Nadia's got a lot of experience under her belt, but I think she's got her hands full with Danielle. I don't know if you guys are familiar with her.
Danielle is pound for pound very strong.
Insanely strong.
Yeah, Danielle's really
I think at Winter Blast a few years ago, didn't she have a super match?
Yeah, she had the sandwich match.
She had a super match
against
the
lady sandwich match. Yeah,
she not only that one with Robert Kelly, but she also had one with a very legit puller from up north here, Sarah.
Oh yeah, that's right.
Sophie, who is a very strong puller who can give most of like the guys up here trouble. And I think she ended up winning 3-1 in an awesome match. The women always put on such awesome matches. That was great.
The last Knuckles Up actually was a really awesome match too, man. It was they were going back and forth too. They just Knuckles Up in general, they have really good matches, but just to go back to them just as a women's match, yeah, they were actually really good.
I gotta say, not to go back too far, but we were talking about Wayne Withers. He's going up against Mega Mike, and I really am rooting for Wayne because the reason why my left arm isn't the way was, was on the up and up, was because I afterpulled with Mega Mike back when I went to Olympia, because he saw me smashing dudes left-handed, destroying them, wrecking them, and he comes up and says, "Let me pull someone your own size." I'm like, "Dude, you're twice my size. What are you talking about?" And so I did full committed. He catches me like inches above the pad. It's my turn, and I watch my entire shoulder lift up, and it's separated, and it's never been the same since. So it's just turned to the party arm since then. But so Wayne Withers, smash Mega Mike for me.
Yeah, man. I think it's gonna. I don't think people really realize how much power Wayne has, man. You know, he's kind of like on the backswing when people don't think realize how much power he really has. It's undeniable, dude. It really is, man. I think he's gonna go right through Mike. I really do.
Yeah, he's really hard to hook, so that takes away Mike's kind of power. But yeah, I agree with you. I think Wayne is going to probably win that dominating.
Yeah. I don't see anything else. I see him just straight to the pad every time. Wayne's got some serious strength on. He was at nationals and he was all sick and everything else. And I was talking to him, and then getting back and seeing getting back here, and now he's going to be competing on Knuckles Up. Him being 100%, that guy is on a different level, man. On a different level. It was just like I felt bad for what's his name. He was sick also on East versus West. Georgie
Sekov.
Yeah,
and he came in with a fucking, I don't even know if his ankle was broken or if it wasn't broken, but on top of that, he was sick on medication, taking medication. I was just like, you can't even pull like that, man. When you pull like that, you're near the strength that you have when you're 100%. Nowhere near. You know what I mean?
Yeah, that was horrible.
Yeah.
And Georgie's such a good guy too. I hate seeing that happen.
Yeah, I like that too, because he'll pull no matter what. You know what I mean? So,
all right. So we have one more local event that I wanted to highlight coming up right after Knuckles Up. So this is a memorial event. I don't know if you guys know or familiar with Jason Vale, but he was a strap master in his time. And in my opinion, and in many's opinion, if he was still around right now, he would be definitely in a conversation of being a GOAT of our sport. He's definitely leveled up New York arm wrestling as a whole. I've actually fashioned a lot of what I do in the strap after, I never met the man. I didn't have the pleasure, but I watch a lot of his videos and I study them like a hawk. And I feel like I've dissected a portion of what he knows and what he's done. When I say I watch it, like literally, I would watch the same video probably about 1,000 times before I was like, okay, I think I can do this. So I'm going to put their link up in the top corner. Please give them a follow, show up, show your support to a legend in our sport. It's going to be ran by Empire Arms, Mike Bisman and Steve Black. Steve Black has been around forever in the sport of arm wrestling. So I know a lot of you guys know who he is. Definitely a great tournament director. They know how to throw on great events here in Long Island and all in New York. I enjoy their events. I'm excited to pull. My goal is for that event, I'm going to be pulling my class 76 and the 98s. Right-handed, left-handed, I'm just going to be pulling 76, see what the party arm can do. I think Aiden's going to be there to compete.
Yep, I'm gonna be in the 98s, so I'll be nice to you and I'll be gentle. Try not to hurt
sleep on me, man.
Try not to hurt you. But,
I'll try not to hurt you, man.
Did you guys after pull at the at Armor? Okay, good. I was gonna say, yeah, no.
It was pretty much he had the left arm, I had the right arm, from what I remember.
You had the right arm. That's okay. All right.
I gotta say, both of you better watch out. I'm not sure. I don't think my boy's competing. I don't think Ivan's competing at Vail. I'm not sure. I think he's just gonna go and I think he's gonna ref because I think he's got a super match and everything else coming up. But I'll be there. I'll be there at 154, 100%. Can't wait to see Bisman. Shout out to Bisman. He was actually our tournament, so I'll definitely be at yours, man, 100%. But yeah, man, I can't wait.
Absolutely, man.
Can't wait.
You know, it's gonna be a great group of people. They're bringing in talent from all over the world. I heard there's a South American world champion showing up with in concert with Poseo TV, Manolo Sanchez from Puerto Rico.
Nice.
So there's going to be a very large, gathering of people from all over the world. Which I'm excited to see. I'm excited to be a part of that.
That's amazing for Jason, man. I got the pleasure to meet him and talk to him quite a bit. And it's really sad, but great arm wrestler, man. And what a great guy, I really do miss him. I really enjoyed our conversations. I know he struggled, but man, what a straight up character, and what a savage, man. And New York arm wrestling, man, that's a legend right there. That's a Hall of Famer. He really set the level of the strap game, to the next level. So all those tricks that you see everybody else doing now, I mean, that all tributes to him. And he really was such a great guy. I met so many guys from New York that started at Jason's place, and he's definitely missed, and he was a straight up guy, man. Just I really enjoy being around him and talking to him. So yeah, I'm glad to see they're having a memorial for him. So
well, it's the third one actually.
That's great. That's great.
So it's they're keeping up with it, and I gotta say the energy that he left behind is still very much alive here on the island. And because there's another practice a little further out east from me that that built up. I'd say when I first got into the sport, they were already like 2 or 3 years in, and I started opening up practice. And there's another practice not too far down the road from me. There's a new practice in Brooklyn. So we've expanded tremendously when he was the only game in town. So he's smiling upon all of us arm wrestlers that he's seeing the growth of the sport to the level that it's at. I just think, it tickles me to see that I could be a part of that and part of his legacy as well.
That's incredible.
Yeah, man. There's going to be too at the, I think Paul Cruz is going to be there too. Paul Cruz.
Oh yeah. Paul Cruz is
a monster, man. That's another guy, up and coming guy.
Oh, how can we forget about him? Nah, man. He's like a beast.
I was going to say, if you don't say Paul Cruz right now,
there's no New York arm wrestling without Paul Cruz being mentioned, man.
Dude,
I like that he's posting his workout videos now, and he's getting into social media. I like that. He's got a good character to him. I think he could really push arm wrestling, and I enjoy that guy.
He was at my first tournament at the Battle of the Tri-State. He was huge. And you will remember there. He was huge.
Oh yeah.
And he was pulling, man, there was a lot of, Wayne Withers was there. He was pulling. Steve Walker was there. He was pulling. There was a lot of heavy guys there that were pulling that day. You know what I mean? So, but in general, I remember he went to Winter Blast. When he went to Winter Blast, man, he shredded down to fucking shredded monster, dude. He shredded, I want to say at least 20 something pounds.
Yeah, I think he pulled 242s, right?
Yep.
Yeah, I remember that. He looked awesome, dude.
Yo, dude,
he got first place. First place for that class.
Yeah, he destroyed everybody. He was a friggin' monster, dude.
Yeah, man.
I always told him he should try it out.
It's like a V, you know what I mean? Because his shoulders were still as big as but he was just, bro. He was a lot bigger at Battle of Tri-State, you know what I mean? But in general, I think it did him really well for him to lose the weight because he was a shredded fucking monster at Winter Blast, dude.
At 242, he could be in you could bring him up for top 5 in the country.
Oh yeah, for sure, dude.
Yeah, without a doubt.
And people will sleep on him because he doesn't travel a lot, but when he gets out there and starts pulling some guys, he's going to fuck people up.
Man.
It's going to be. And he trains hard too. I see he really loves the sport. You can see the passion just on his social media. I love those guys. It's
100%, dude.
Really incredible.
He definitely has his heart in the right place when it comes to the sport. He's actually later in the summer, he's hosting a barbecue out of his own house. I think it's sometime in late August. So definitely go check him out.
If I get the invite.
You'll get the invite. Are you kidding me? Paul Cruz, he always opens up for everybody, man. The guy is like.
No, I know. Me and him are good. Me and him are good. We were talking always. He's like, better come to Jason Vale. I said, I'm definitely being there. He's got my shirt. I sent him a Paul Cruz shirts and everything like that, sponsored by New York Smoke. So now even the shirt that he's gonna actually think wear there, I'm in the back. It's gonna be sponsored by New York Smoke. So he's great, man. He's phenomenal. I love him, man. He's an absolute fucking monster though, too. You know what I mean?
He's hysterical.
Yeah, he is.
I love hanging out with his family. His entire family is just so welcoming.
Yeah, man. I was going actually when I was at Winter Blast, my first tournament. He was actually telling me, when I was up there, what I should do, do it. He's like, pull in, foul it. If by any chance, full start, whatever it is, just make sure you're the first one off. That's just really, him. And yeah, I've only met him once before, and for him to just coming up to me and just talking the way he is it's inviting, man. He's a really nice guy, man. It really is.
And that's the good thing about our sport is that's what happens. These guys that are just phenomenal, even guys like, Paul, but like, Devin and all those top guys, when you see them and you ask them questions, I mean, it's the only sport that you can get the top guys to show you some stuff. You're not going to go up to LeBron James and ask him how to shoot a free throw. Like those people, you're not even going to get close to them, but you get to grip up and pull the top guys in the world when you run into them at different events, and they're all that hospitality. They all have that aura about them that they're so kind and very helpful. So it's that's one thing I love about the sport, man.
Yeah,
absolutely agree with you 100%.
About that. Like no one ever charges for practices. Like if you do, it's rare, and you can go there and there's like world champions who are just so open about everything. It's crazy.
Yeah, so true.
I appreciate the camaraderie and the generosity that each and every person has in this sport. It's next level. You don't, like you said, Craig, you're not going to find this in any other capacity. And the connectivity that you have and the ease of access too. Like I can reach out to Paul Lynn or Devin Lorette tonight and say, hey, how do I improve this part of my game? And they'll give me they'll respond fairly quickly too. I know they're busy humans. They have their own lives, right? But they actually will take the time out to respond, give me a voice message, take a video of what they're doing, say, this is how you do it.
Yeah, those two guys are amazing. Paul Lynn, especially. I mean, that guy is such a great human being, man, and such an ambassador for the sport. I mean, he's such a well-spoken guy, and he's a freak of nature on the table. So, he's just one of those guys that, is a great representation of our sport. He's just a class act. And, and like Devin, like you said, those guys they'll message you back and give you tips. And it's incredible, man. It's incredible how they are. So
it's lucky to be in the sport. And, just like you said, just to be able to reach out to these people and just to see exactly what you should do, need to do, and how you should do it. I mean, it's a blessing, honestly, because you're just not being able to do it in any other realm of the sport, on any other level. This is the only type of sport that you're able to do that with. So you're right,
Well, I do know that some of our guests are going to be looking to leave in the near future. But I do want to ask, before we get into the meat and potatoes of why Craig is really here, I wanted to ask you guys, what is your favorite training style? How do you train? What do you do to train? What do you do to recover from training? And what do you do to recover pre and post tournament?
I can just tell you what I do from after recovery training. Go through pain, just pain, just Jesus, man. I every single time I practice anything like when I pull with Ivan or something like that, or the amount of pain that I have, dude, at night during the next day. I'm lying. Not the next day. The second day or third day. Is when I really start fucking feeling it, man. And that's and free sleeve is the only thing that I can do, honestly. That'll, practice, I would say top roll, just top roll. That's it.
Fair enough.
For 2-3 days after is the worst.
Yeah, man. I can't deal with that. Like I'm at night, literally at night, just sleeping. I'm like, oh my God. And I just do this just at night just to get the fucking pain away for a little bit, and then I just try to go right back to sleep, and I'm like, fuck, dude. But yeah, and then even Wayne I talked to, and he goes, don't even practice as much, pulling with another guys. Use a lot of bands, use bands, man. He goes, and just, weight train your certain, thing that you're doing. So if you're, and which he mainly does is he does like 400-pound back wrist curls. So the guy's a monster, dude. Monster, man. You know what I mean? And I seen him. You can look him up on videos that he guys doing this. You know what I mean? Back curls with the 400 pounds is absolutely fucking ridiculous, man. But yeah, I would say just top pro. You know what I mean? And,
Top roll.
yeah.
Gotcha. What about you, Aiden?
Yeah, I was gonna say I'll stall for Craig, but he's back now. I've tried a lot of different training stuff, and it kind of varies around, how, if I'm injured, what's hurting, and I've started from like where I started at was practicing once a week, practicing all the moves at practice, press, hook, top roll. The first year kind of staying away from the press because you don't want to mess up your elbows within the first year. You want to just condition yourself. But since then, I've tried training 3 days a week and pulling 3 days a week, and that's kind of helped me the most in preparation for tournaments. And I would do a training block for tournaments that I really care about, which is a month of training 3 days a week for 2 weeks, and then 1 week of strength training, and then alternate that up until 3 weeks before the tournament, and then just rehab stuff. But I've messed around with a lot of stuff. Right now, I'm just doing once a week, trying to heal up. Light weights.
Do you share any of your trainings on your YouTube channel?
I do. I mess around with a lot of stuff. I post some stuff about strict curl training. I like doing that. I do the pulley system. I have my weight stack and my pulley, stuff like that. And I also post a bunch of stuff for like rehab workouts and stuff.
What do you do? How long do you wait until I would say till you go into a tournament before? Like, do you do some bands? Like, what do you do? Like, how long do you give yourself? Like a week, 2 weeks, 3 weeks?
So it depends on the type of tournament that I'm doing. If it's one that I really care about, I take 2 weeks off from pulling. I take 1 week off from weights, and then probably say the tournament is on a Saturday. I'll stop doing everything the Tuesday before the tournament, but on Tuesday I'll do like bands and work on positioning on the table and speed a little bit with bands. And then on Tuesday I stop doing everything, so I have 4 complete days of rest.
Oh, okay.
And that's a tournament that I really care about. If it's like a smaller tournament, I'll stop training maybe Thursday, and I'll just treat the tournament as a heavy practice.
Gotcha.
Well,
Yeah, what do you do, Dan? You're talking to us about everything. What do you do?
so for training, I train twice a week. I have two days a week, Thursday nights and Sunday nights for table time, 2 to 3 hours each time. I try to space out my pulls though between like 10 to 15 minutes. Rest time in between each pull, because I want to build up the stamina to keep going and be able to keep up with some of these guys that are stamina kings. I'm 37. I'm no spring chicken. I know I'm not that old, but I'm also not that young. I'm kind of right there in the middle of the road, and I'm just trying to find the recipe that works best for me because I am still new in the sport. I do a lot of pull-ups. I do a lot of resistance band work. I have a spring that I do a lot of, just center table. I hit for position. That's where I find
hand. You got a strong fucking hand.
Well, that's also my job. My job is I'm a licensed massage therapist at 13 years. So when you do something over and over again,
your hand for 13 years. That's
So and it's not just about hamstring. It's also about coordinating the entire body together and body mechanics behind the hand. I've learned to apply my entire body weight into what I do at the table behind my hand. So my hand feels even stronger than it really actually is, because you get me on one of those gripper things, I can't budge that thing, to be honest with you. You get me on one of those little dynameters, I'm not hitting those numbers very high in any way or form. It's just I'm coordinated with my entire body with everything. And Jersey was just talking about that earlier today, or yesterday rather, on someone else's channel. And it's all about coordinating the entire body together. And that's kind of what inspired the name of this podcast, is collaborate and pull together. Literally, you got to make sure you have all your muscles, everything, and all my workouts pretty much replicate exactly what I do at the table in an arm wrestling match. So I just try to keep that mind-body connection solid and tight, but not for nothing, because of how intense I work out and how intense, like I'm 2 days a week of table time, I recover a lot. I invest a lot of time and money in recovery, physical recovery. I do medical cryotherapy with New York Cryogen Incorporated. I get float therapy. I get massages, acupuncture. I invest a lot of time and money into it because I've of the belief, there's actually a quote in my job that says, if you don't make time for your wellness, you'll be forced to make time for your illness. And that to me is a great motto to live by, because if I get injured, I'm going to be forced to take care of it anyway. So why not rehab it now so that I strengthen and condition it? And I find that my gains are in my recovery. When I sit there and I spend the time, like for a tournament, I take 10 days off table time before a tournament, depending on how big it is. If it is bigger, then I'll do 12 days. And then just do strictly light resistance work 5 days leading up to it. And then I do nothing those 5 days up to the tournament. I just rest, digest, drink water, make sure I'm hydrated and eating clean and maintaining weight. Now because I'm climbing up in weight, I'm getting to eat a little bit more during that rest and digest period. But that's pretty much my training regimen. It's pretty simple, straightforward, and there's no rest for the wicked, in my opinion. So I'm constantly trying to find something better to do to make it more efficient. I'll even show you my workout station right here. I have my resistance band attached to the spring, attached to the pulley, with a total hand control hand that I literally replicate the pressures that I would at a table. And I just do very micro adjustment moves, and then I hit from that. I do micro adjustment moves, and I hit from that. And Aiden can probably attest to that's my style of arm wrestling. I'm looking for that hole to punch through, and then once I find it, it's getting every ounce of my strength, every ounce of my power, and literally my entire body weight goes right into it.
I gotta head out, guys, but thanks for having me.
Thank you for joining us, man. We appreciate having you.
I need to go be an academic. So
Nice to see you, my man.
Study.
Brother. Good to meet you.
Nice to meet you, Craig.
Nice to meet you.
Will talk to you guys later.
Later.
Bye-bye.
Later, young buck. So, Craig, before we get into the next topic, let's hear about your training.
My training, like you, I spend a lot of time on recovery, ice baths, physical therapy, massages, So my training is kind of it depends what I'm doing, right? So right now I'm getting ready for some matches, and so my training's kind of like, I call it a training camp, like a fighter. So now I'm focused on just training basically all day long. Basically, I'm doing these workouts. So at my job, I have a station where I'm constantly hitting riser and pronation and just getting constant blood flow, fatiguing my hand, my thumb, and working on pronation and riser because they can always get stronger. And then I usually train. I take 1 day off a week, and I don't train super intense, probably like 70 to 80% intensity level, so that I can train like more. But like I do all my heavy training on the table. That's where I attack my central nervous system. Couple hours of training, 3 hours of practice or whatever. I'm pretty fried. So it all depends on my recovery, because now, like, I'm 52, you guys are younger. So you can go to practice once a week. Sometimes for me, it's every second week. So because I can recover a little bit better. But if I'm doing an event, I might go to practice and just have a light, practice, knowing that I'm not at my I'm not at a really good percentage. So it's, and plus I have a really good team that I train with here locally in Daytona. So I'm really blessed to have a bunch of good guys to train with. But, when I say I train every day and stuff, and sometimes a couple times a day, I'm doing like mobility stuff, and stretching and just because I have some issues with my lower back and stuff, so I have to do maintenance where I do a lot of decompression stuff,
Okay.
a lot of hangs, a lot of I have this machine, it's called a Dex 2. It's sort of like an inversion table, but it comes from your hips, so there's no strain on your ankles and knees, so it's a little bit better to get that decompression, because like I said earlier, I've been training like 42 years and it's like all this and I never once thought about stretching. So it's like when you're older, man, your whole philosophy of life is different, because when I was in my 20s, I wasn't thinking about like being 40, because I thought 40, when I met a 40-year-old, I always thought, oh, that guy's a has-been, he's washed up. And now that I'm 52, I'm like, man, I kind of like to live for another 30, 40 years, as long as it's I'm healthy and I'm able to live my life to the fullest. But that's something that you have to invest into, like you were saying about the eating clean and stuff like that. I'll even do some fasts for inflammation, and I really feel like it helps me a lot, especially before a tournament. And it usually helps me just cut a couple more pounds off of my, usually I'm about, 5 pounds off weight the day of or whatever. So yeah, man. So my training is just, it's just like, I do the basics of strength, and I don't do a super lot of volume, but I do a lot of frequency. So, and I'm still playing around, man. Arm wrestling's funny because there's no template, and I work with Coach Ray. I've worked with Daniel. I've worked with a few guys with routines and stuff to get an idea of what arm wrestlers are doing at that high level. And then you got to kind of adapt to what you can handle. Cause, I kind of made a post today about, your body can only go so hard, even though you have that mental drive of just killing it, that David Goggins mentality of just go, go, go. But sometimes your body breaks down a little bit. So you have to be smart with your training and your nutrition. So, and your rest and all that. And that with being a massage therapy, you're very in tune with your body and stuff. And, those guys, you're the second massage therapy guy I know that arm wrestles, and they're really good as well. So it's there's that connection that you guys have as well. So just like physical therapists, those guys are really intelligent on the table because they know their body and they know the body mechanics and stuff. So that was unfortunately my problem, and it still is, because I come from a bodybuilding background and everything's full range of motion. And then you get into arm wrestling and it's like you said, it's little motions, and I'm learning that still, like, because I'm like, man, is this going to do anything for me? But it's just mimicking arm wrestling. And that's, if you want to get good at arm wrestling, you have to train as an arm wrestler, so.
Yeah.
I'm
going to say I got to leave, guys. Thank you so much for having me, Dan.
It was nice to meet you,
man.
Craig, it was a pleasure to meet you, man.
You too, brother.
I definitely got to go down there, and we got to sit down and have a talk.
Down, right?
For sure, man. Anytime.
Man. Yeah, I like your vibe, dude. I'm gonna
Thanks,
check you
man.
out,
You too,
and follow you 100%, dude.
Thank you. I appreciate that, man. Good to meet you,
man. Yeah, Dan. I'll see you, man.
See you later, man. Thank you for joining me, man.
Always, man. Always
Appreciate it.
Yeah, no problem, man. Thank you.
Next time.
You too.
All right, so I got Craig's link here right up top. Please follow it. His link to his YouTube channel. Definitely a man worthwhile following, because he's got quite the story, not just in arm wrestling. He's been arm wrestling for some time, but one of the main things that I was attracted to was how he speaks about recovery. A little bit, about me is that, I'm in recovery right now. I'm just a little over 4 months in. And I am just finding my way through it. and finding a gentler way to exist in my recovery. A month and a half ago, I found a new sponsor that taught me how to be gentle. And through the fellowship that I go through, that I'm working on, to better myself, I've opened my eyes to a lot of different individuals in our sport and our community that, really have a good, strong message of recovery. And you, my friend, this is the reason why I picked this shirt for tonight. You carry the message. It says carry the message.
Yeah.
You carry the message fairly strong and fairly well. And it's a dude on a bike, how much more perfect can you get than that? So I wanted, give you an opportunity, a platform to speak to the audience, and I'll share my story a little bit afterwards, but I want you to, share your journey in recovery.
Well, man, I appreciate all the love, and I'm really I'm proud of you too, man. 4 months, that's amazing. I know what that feels like, and you're in a good place, man. The beginning of a new life, having the willingness to make a change in your life, and that's what it's all about, right there. It's about the willingness, and once you can obtain that, that is golden. That's going to get you a lot, because you're willing to do whatever it takes to change your life. And I've been an addict all my life. Started drinking when I was young, and I went through alcoholism younger, and just progressed into hardcore drugs. And it was just years and years of abuse. I'm not going to get into a drug-a-log, but I hit so many rock bottoms. I gave so much stuff away, and I never wanted to I wanted to get help, but I didn't really, because I didn't like who I was, and that's the thing. When you're not living your life to the fullest and you're living a life of regret, you're really not, you don't love the person you're looking at in the mirror every day. You're not happy with that person. And there's a reason why you're not happy with that person. Is because you're not you're not being honest with yourself, and that's a big thing that happens in recovery. And once that kind of silver lining, or the pink cloud, or whatever that people call it in recovery, they'll say what you're going through now is that sort of that feeling, because life is great. And then once you get to those problems again, that would make you go out and go back to drinking or drugs or whatever the vice is. You have to learn how to have tools to not want to go back to that life again. And I went through so many recoveries, and I was dope sick so many times, and I never could learn a lesson, man. And I really was down a really really bad place. Like, I was living out of my truck. I was experiencing homelessness. I gave all my shit away. Like I said, I used to have a gym. I was a really great trainer. I mean, I was making great money, and, addiction doesn't really care. It doesn't, it's not prejudiced against what color you are, where you live, who you are, what sex you're, it's just, it's going to hit you. And, it hit me. And, the bottom line was I couldn't stop, man. I just couldn't stop, and I really couldn't stop. And then one day I just, I got this to the point in my life that I didn't want to live anymore. And a couple times through my life, I tried to commit suicide, and I got to this place where I didn't want to live anymore. And it was a dark place, and so I, quite obviously, here I am today. But, I was able to, I was just blessed that I had my wife. And I don't know, but I just had the willingness all of a sudden to go to a meeting. And I was done with this. I didn't want to be this person anymore. And it just hit me, man. I just had the willingness, and I went to a meeting. And of course, I've been to so many AA meetings and NA and church groups when I was into religion, and all these different, fellowships and stuff, but I always lied. I never told anybody who I was. I put on this facade, you know what I mean? Like, I'm this tough guy. I'm all tatted up and muscular and, don't fuck with me. And, but I was really just a scared person, and I didn't know how to live my life without a substance. And I wanted to change that. And I really wanted to change it. I went in there and I humbled myself and, I had that gift of desperation, and that's an amazing thing to have, when you're so desperate that you don't know where else to turn, but you want to change, and like I said, like, that's the willingness. So the willingness, I had that gift, and I went to meetings, and I went to like 5-6 meetings a day. I really gravitated to the program. I got involved into working in detox, helping other addicts. And here I am today, I'm sharing my story on my channel and on my Facebook and all my social medias, because I want to show people that there's a positive way to live your life, and that, once you can get out of your own way and kind of figure out why you're doing those things you're doing, because, it's funny, because once the drugs were gone and I didn't have that, craving anymore, and, I got past that, I had to face who Craig was, man. And I was really still putting on an act. I was really putting on an act. I was fooling nobody, because I know who I am. And finally I started on this journey of self-growth and finding out who I am and being honest with myself. And I finally was able to understand, who I am, and what I can do to be a better person and be a light to people and help others, and take all that regret and time that I was an addict and the waste of like not remembering my childhood, or not being able to remember times in my life because I was so under the influence of some narcotic, and now to be able to show people that you can get sober, man, and you can change your life. And it's not only just getting sober, it's being positive and not being a victim of your story, man. You got to be the victor. You got to be the one holding the pen when you're writing your book about your life. And every day, man, it's so important. And so yeah, I was just this washed up junkie, man, and I didn't have anything going for me. And I was living in a friggin' storage unit. And I met my wife on some dating app. We started talking, and basically, we're going to celebrate 13 years of marriage on Thursday. And
that's beautiful, man.
It's been quite the ride. It's been quite the ride.
Like, one of the things that I've learned is living life on life's terms. Just because I got clean doesn't mean the stop's going to stop setting or stop rising. It's going to keep the wheel in the sky is going to keep on turning, right? Like that song says.
Yeah.
And I'm learning that a lot of the things and the people who I was surrounding myself with was catering to older versions of myself, not to the man who I wanted to be. And that I needed to be, that my family needed me to be, and I, that this self-discovery process, don't get me wrong, I haven't completely found myself, because I think you never truthfully do, but I have found a gentler pathway through, seeing your success story, seeing how, hearing, you got 13 years with your wife now. That's beautiful, man. That's something that's what creates hope and faith for someone like myself. And to me, hope and faith is the ability to see beyond your current circumstances. And I see that you've lit up that pathway that was otherwise darkened by my own previous mindsets, because my own will sucked at that time. My own will, my own willpower. What my thoughts, my behaviors, my actions, they sucked because they were all driven by greed, selfishness, and fear. And I now shedding all those defects of character, You know, I'm capable of actually seeing things like, hey, you know what? Yeah, life isn't always going to be peachy keen, but I appreciate the opportunity that I have a life here.
You know, it's funny you talk about character defects, and share a funny story. You know, this is how messed up I was. You know, I came home and I'm sitting at the table, and my wife comes home from work and she's like, "What are you doing?" And I'm sitting there with a blank piece of paper and I'm saying, "I'm writing my character defects, but I don't really know any. I'm really a humble guy. You know, I'm a really nice person." And she goes, "Give me that piece of paper." And she started writing a half a dozen things down, and it just lit a light onto me. And I realized that I'm lying to myself. I'm not a good person. I'm not humble. You know, if I'm telling you I'm humble, I don't even know humility, you know? So anyway, it was just kind of that kickstart of understanding who I was as a person, and knowing that, the trauma of my childhood and all these events that happened, that doesn't define me. And I can't keep blaming those people and things that happen in my life. I have to take some responsibility. I mean, and this was when I was about 48. So it's still kind of fresh. And I just realized, that, my perspective started changing on how, when you meet people and say you had a bad experience with your parents and they weren't good parents and whatever, and you got to understand that they were doing the best that they could do at that time, and I never really put it in that light before. I always put it in like, oh, why did he drink, or why did he do all this shit, and why wasn't he not there for me, or whatever the scenario was. Because my parents got divorced when I was really young, and I went to like 13 different schools, and I had bad anxiety because I had a weird last name and no one could pronounce it. And I never had any friends because I was at a new school every few months, and I never felt like I belonged anywhere. And
I can relate to that a lot, man.
Yeah.
I can relate to that heavily. I can remember hearing that part of your story, and I was like, dude, why is he telling my story?
I know, isn't it crazy?
I mean, with a different school, I went through like 5 different high schools, 2 different elementary schools, man. So I did that sense of, or lack thereof, of a sense of belonging. I was always yearning for that, and I found it in the sport of arm wrestling. That's why I was like, I need to keep this in my life, even though I got clean after I joined the sport. I realized that there's a lot the sport has to offer because of individuals like yourself in it. And the different mindsets that it's instilled in my head in regards to recovery. The micro adjustment of a wrist, right, changes the outcome of a match. The micro adjustment of your outlook changes the outcome of your recovery. And I realize that it's all about the effort, though. It's all about the effort that you put in today, and irregardless of the result that it comes or doesn't come. You just got to put forth the effort regardless. So I can appreciate that, man.
Yeah. So, I mean, just having those experiences and not being able to fit in, and, that just was particularly like me. I was kind of a loner. I could be in a crowd and still be lonely. And, just because I was hiding away from myself, I just didn't want to face who I was. I wanted to keep lying to myself. And, eventually the curtain came down, and I had some really life-changing experiences, and it really changed who I was, and it gave me a better perspective on life. And like you said, I learned how to live life on life's terms. I like to say that I surrendered to the flow of life. I read this book called The Untethered Soul by Michael Singer, and it has nothing that I'd be interested in at all. This guy was a yoga guy and, did all this, building, and, basically was a successful business person. But his whole thing was, and it made sense to me, because he talked about your mind being like a movie, and that you were just sit back and watch this movie happen and not partake in it right away, and do the opposite of what you always wanted to think of. Like, like live life from abundance, where if someone asked you to do something and you're like, oh, I don't have time for that, or whatever, you do kind of can make time. How you can make things a priority for some people, and others you're not so, quick to do whatever. Yeah. So he was always just, the way he broke down, because I used to think I was crazy because I would hear, my mind talking or whatever, saying, things. And I'd be like, why am I having these crazy thoughts? And I understood that it's just part of the way your mind works. And then you can sit back and not react to it. And then it gives you kind of tools to use so that if you're in a conversation and someone's disrespectful or something, you're not the first thing you don't do is you don't, think of violence. You just think of, hey, you know what, it's better for me to get away from this situation and, not make it any worse than what it needs to be. And so just to understand, a little bit about your thought process, it was a big deal for me. And then I realized that, now I can, sit back and not react to everything that happens in my life so that I'm not always out there with my feelers. My feelings aren't dictating my experiences every day because I'm not letting other people get me upset or whatever, and I'm not saying I'm 100% with that. Of course you get upset, but it's good to be able to stop you from, manifesting in that. It's like when you get in an argument, say you get in an argument with your wife, and it's better to kind of not let that get out of hand. You know what I mean? So that you're not attached to that moment so long, because if you get in a fight with someone, you're going to be attached to that moment longer than you need to be. You know what I mean? You're going to be thinking about that person, and it's just the way it is in life. And I think like that's karma. Because when you're an asshole, you'll think about the person for so long and you'll be like, going, man, that guy was such a dick or whatever. And then you're just manifesting on it. So we got Chris Lacko in the chat. And I just want to say that guy is a fucking beast and a stud. And he's amazing. And that's another guy everybody should follow in recovery, because that guy's inspiring to me. And I've had some days where I might have felt bad for myself, and I went on his page and I looked at what he's doing and how happy he was to hear better, and just this whole like story is really inspirational. And that guy is just grinding and pushing through each day.
His promotion of positivity is actually what got me to where I am today.
I can see why.
He was the catalyst. He actually, I'm going to have him on the podcast actually on May 6th, so stay tuned for that.
Nice.
He is a huge source of inspiration to me to this, and he was actually my temporary sponsor for a little while to help me out, guiding me through this this whole thing, because this is my second round of recovery, but I've never gotten clean through this route, and it's definitely been different, and at this point, liberating for me, because I'm looking at things at a very different perspective, very, very different perspective. The mindset is a huge component to it, and being gentle. I never thought I could be gentle. I never thought I was allowed to be gentle, and that's the self-fulfilling prophecy that you live it, you breathe it for so long, and this is the comfort zone that you believe that you need to exist within, and you don't need to. And that's not the purpose of our existence, is to be self-deprecating or self-demolishing to our own personalities based off of what happened to us. What are we going to do today to make it better tomorrow? And even though that tomorrow may not be promised, I still want to do the best I can today. And so, it's because of you guys that I'm so inspired, because you literally have taken what I originally walked into, what I felt the best analogy can ever be, is this darkened pathway in the woods. And each one of your existence and stories and messages that you put out there are like lanterns for that pathway. And the closer I get to it, the brighter they appear to me, and more resoundingly like, whoa, this is actually like a nice place to be. This is not so bad after all. Okay, I can get used to this level of just calmness regardless of there being, don't get me wrong, there isn't completely peace and tranquility in my life, even as a massage therapist and my wife being a yogi. I have strong practices in my life to help me calm myself. That doesn't mean that I'm not met with stress, but I just now know how I've learned how to handle said stress a lot easier and a lot more gently. And so speaking about a book that I wanted to mention, I think you would appreciate it. There's a book called Many Lives, Many Masters. I don't know if you ever heard of that one.
No, I never.
Um,
No.
it's a great book. It's actually it's a traditional psychologist that had an ineffective form of treatment for one of his clients that he wasn't getting anywhere with traditional psychology methods. So then he dove into hypnosis, and he brought her all the way back to like early life, and there wasn't any resolutions occurring in her life when normal people would, and so he somehow dipped into a previous life. And in between the previous lives, she apparently lived for like 86 or 87 different times, but he had connections with masters of the universe, if you may, or higher level of spirits in the spiritual realm. And it really helps further along the purposefulness that each of us have, something that's greater than ourselves, something that, we don't just exist to do our jobs that are Monday through Friday. We don't just exist to, pay our bills. We exist for so much more than that, even beyond our own families, even beyond this conversation. Like, we have so much things that are waiting for us to accomplish and do. And that journey, that fucking excites me, man. The prospect that there's more behind that corner waiting for me that I can do more of. Let's go.
Yeah, that's a great place to be, man, to be able to get up each day. And like you said, we're not promised, tomorrow, but I listened to this guy was talking about, he said that he started living his life like it was the last day. Each day when he go to bed, he was oh, you know who it was? It was Cat Williams. And I was
There you
listening
go.
to him. He was talking about that going to bed each day that you basically did everything you wanted to do. And and if you didn't, you didn't, but you're just you're being able to kind of live your life to the fullest and be excited about the next day, and not dwelling on what happened that day. And that's another thing that you will go through in recovery, which is really challenging, is like not having those times of regret, when you get sober and you think back and you're like, man, I can't believe I did this. And then you start feeling sorry for yourself. And then all of a sudden you get in that negative mindset. So a lot of times we got to realize that, the past is the past. We can't live there because we'll get depressed. And we can't live in the future because that's just going to make us anxious and give us anxiety. So we have to live in the now. We have to stay in what's called a flow state and just go with life. And because life, like you said earlier, life is going to go no matter what. Like tomorrow, we're both going to wake up. It's going to be Tuesday, and we can either go, oh my God, I can't believe I got to get up and be that kind of person, or get up and go, hey, world, show me what's going on today. I'm ready. And just embrace your day and try to be a blessing to everybody that you interact with all day long, and crush your job and just smash a bunch of W's, do your workout, eat your good meals, drink water, and do the right thing, man. And then live your day like that. And then that's creating your best self, and when you can do that consecutively, you're living an amazing life, and you're not caught up in all the other nonsense.
Well, have you ever heard the rear view mirror analogy?
Yes.
For those who haven't heard it, the viewers are still listening. There's a reason why your windshield is that much bigger than your rear view mirror. Because what you got coming in front of you right here, right now, is that much more important than what you've left behind. And, that's something that I was always, it was more like I was driving like this, and occasionally looking in the front of my mirror, not knowing who the hell I was running over, who the hell I was, hurting. Like it was an insane insincere way to exist. And now that I've gotten cleaned up, I can actually sit there and say, oh, shoot, did I actually do that to somebody? Let me make sure I don't do that to anyone else ever again. And not only just for them, but also for myself, because I don't want to live with that guilt and that shame that I may have, done something like that, that where I wasn't putting in my best foot forward or giving the best version of myself to my family, to my job, because that's not a fulfilling life at that moment. You are going to live your life full of regrets at that, living it like that. So
Yeah.
look ahead in that windshield right there in front of you, because that's where life's at.
Yeah, for sure. And you're, to like sharing your story. And as you get more sobriety, and you'll be able to, I have this thing where, I talk to a lot of people. I have people messaging me that are struggling, and especially young guys and stuff. And I want to save them the headache, man. I don't want you to spend 25 years doing drugs and wasting your time and not getting your shit together. I want you to learn from my bad mistakes, because there's no happy ending to a pill or a drink or a friggin' drug. If you can't control it, you have that, in you, that you're always going to be messed up all the time and you can't live your life and it's unmanageable. I just want to try to save some people the time. And like I said, and I'll always go back, you always have to have the willingness, but maybe you plant a seed with someone, or you just show them, hey, you know what? You don't have to use drugs. You don't have to live that life anymore. And
you don't. And that's a beautiful thing of your existence. You're an example, a living example. You don't have to have a very fulfilling, exciting life. That, I mean, not for nothing, like hearing you speak on your podcast and seeing like people like Chris Lacko going and experiencing things that way he's experiencing. He doesn't mind that I share that. When he was walking down the street when he first got that cochlear implant, and he heard, he thought that somebody was calling his name. He was turning around like, who the hell's calling my name? Who the hell's calling? It was birds crowing, and or chirping or something like that. And that level of experiencing something clean is a great example that you don't have to have a stellar experience induced by drugs. You don't. You can enjoy life. You can thoroughly enjoy life without any substances. And I think I try to be a living example of that as best to my ability, because I am enjoying my life. Despite the hardships and trials and tribulations that have happened, that have yet to come, or that I'm currently having, I am enjoying that I have a life to live. And I know I have no desire to ever use again, because I don't have to. I don't have to enjoy it. I don't have to be successful, to feel successful. I don't have to be false in what I say or do. And I can be sounding like a broken record, but that's okay, because it is a rinse and repeat process. It's okay to live that thing continuously, because guess what? What also is the same monotonous thing that it goes from literally one side of the country to the other? A fucking tire, right? A tire on a motorcycle, a tire on a car. It's built the same exact way as it was when it was in LA, all the way to the entire journey here to New York. But it saw the whole freaking road in all different ways and fashions. If it's not operating in a pristine condition, it's going to go off to the side or blow out. We're built the same way. If we that's how I see it. If we don't take care of ourselves, we can blow out.
100%, man. And we have to invest in ourselves, and that's what it is, and once you get sober, you got to really, start working out and taking care of yourself and eating healthy. And that just helps you excel at life. I know I had a hard time when I first got sober. I gained a lot of weight. I was eating a lot of, garbage food, because sugar, and you're an addict. And, at one point I was like, am I going to die of eating Oreos? Or, But the heroin never took me out, but the Oreos are going to take me out. So yeah. And then when you get to that stage where you're eating better and you're putting in some investment in yourself, that's when you really can complete the picture of recovery, and it will really help you, accelerate your recovery and your sobriety, because you're doing all the right things, man. You're working at a high level, and that's just the way you need to live your life. There's no way around it, man. And the quicker people come to that realization, and the quicker they can get into a program and find help, the better it is for them. Because I hate seeing people that are living that life, man. It's just, because what it's like, and it just sucks. So I hope anyone out there listening that's struggling, I hope you can take, from mine and Daniel's stories of recovery, and just know that you can live a better life without a substance. And if you're struggling, man, hit me up on my YouTube, whatever, just anything, reach out. I'm willing to listen. I'm willing to help whoever's out there struggling, because, we're all a family. We're all connected in this universe together, man. And how this is because when you're in a room with someone that's in a bad mood, it's just that dark energy. You can feel it. And then when you're in a room full of high, positive people, you can really feel that vibe. You can feel that, vibration, and in yourself, you feel it. When you work out and you eat healthy, you have a high vibration. But when you eat shitty and you do the things that you don't say you're going to do, and you're not living the life you should be, you're going to have that low vibration. And that's just the way it is in the world. And we're all connected. I believe this, through my experiences in life, man. And it's just, it's good to be around people and help others. And that's what we're here for. My whole mission in life is to provide a service to others and help them, when I can, because I don't want to think that I wasted all those years of being a drug addict. I want to be able to share that message and to maybe help one or two people out there. And, that's all I want to do in life, and being a good example to my family and my children. That's because it's not about us, really. It's about others, and I know for me, because when I get out of my own way, my life can project into a great journey, but when I'm in my own way, it's not a fun time, so it's me versus me. And I always remember that each and every day, man. And I'm my own worst enemy. So I gotta tame that, and I gotta flip that script every day, and I gotta do it through action. And I share it for everybody to see. I know a lot of people are annoyed by stuff and whatever, but that's not for you. And that's great. And I understand, because, stuff annoys me online too. So, but I know there's people out there that might be struggling, that day or whatever. And hopefully a positive vibe can push them through, because I know it helps me when I'm down or I need a little extra motivation. I see someone else putting in that work, or having an achievement, or celebrating a recovery, or whatever it is, having a good time with their family, whatever it is, whatever positivity is, I can take that and I can use it for my own, my own self, so that I can get out of any kind of funk I'm in. And, a good example of that is, we talked about Chris earlier, deaf. I mean, I can't imagine being deaf, man. You know what I'm saying? Like, I struggled, I had everything, my health, and I was still caught up in my own self. So imagine a guy like that hearing and all that stuff, and how grateful he is. When I look at people like that and I'm not living my life to the fullest, I think, what a bitch I'm being. You know what I mean? Like, guys like that are inspirational. You know what I'm saying? That's real inspiration. That's real inspiration.
Absolutely. It puts it into perspective, what we take for 100%. Granted, and what, because the life that we're given, it's not necessarily ours. As I said before, and those that take it for granted suffer. I mean, I was definitely one of those individuals that took everything that was given to me for granted.
Yeah, we all do. I mean, it's just part of our addiction, our addictive traits. Yeah. We're selfish. We only think about ourselves. We're egotistical. And that's just the way we are. And once we learn to come to grips with that, and we learn how to tame that beast, and we know that we can, be honest with ourselves. I used to blame everything on everybody else, every situation, boo-hoo, Craig. I victimize everything. And that's why I hate that victim mentality now, because I know it's such a sellout of a life that you don't want to live. You don't want to live like that. The common denominator of all my problems is me, and that's it. And once I realized that, I was able to make a difference in my own life, and I was able to get out of my own way. And, that's just things we come to come to grips with as we get older, and, it took me a long time. They say men don't grow up very quickly, and, we can't multitask. So,
They are certainly not wrong in that, both of those regards.
Yeah.
Well, I know you got to get up early, man.
Yes, sir.
4 o'clock comes quickly at this hour. So
Yeah,
I
man.
wanted to take a moment to appreciate you coming on, sharing your story, being a source of inspiration to many, including myself. Keep on rocking on, man. I loved watching your journey. I loved hearing your inspiration. Literally, it's one of my first things I start my day is listening to one of your videos, man. So keep on doing your thing.
I appreciate it, man, and I really appreciate you. And I'm glad to get to know you. And I really appreciate you having me on your platform. Great show. It was great meeting all your friends, and you're a real inspiration too, man. You got 4 months of sobriety in, and it's really inspiring to see that. And I wish you the very best, man. And like I said, if you ever get in a jam, you need someone to talk to, you don't have someone in your system that might be busy or whatever, man, always hit me up. And I love seeing you grow. And I'm looking forward to seeing you grow even more, and to see your progression more into the sport now that you're 100% committed to it, not only physically, but mentally. It's going to be a real blessing to it's going to be a real inspiration to see, where you come in the sport, and your passion. You're one of the new guys in the sport. You're doing all this stuff on social media, really pushing the sport. I really appreciate that. You guys are doing a great job, and it's nice to see the new generation coming up and really, putting all their love and all their passion into this great sport of arm wrestling.
Well, I mean, while I have you here, just one last thing that I will share. I'm not going to go into too much detail. I'm going to put up the link for it in the corner. Every year I do a barbecue, and I highlight pretty much all my recovery services that I've been doing for decades now, not decades, but for at least the last decade. And I try to connect the arm wrestling community with all these wellness services. And now I want to further that even further into recovery as well, and kind of connect all those dots, because arm wrestling is a way for us to express ourselves. And for me, at least, it's a way how I can express myself and deal with maybe some anger issues, if you may, and frustrations. But also it's a way to challenge myself and keep accountable for weight loss goals. Because when I first got in the sport, I was 270 pounds. And wow. I lost over 100, actually 120 pounds in entirety. I gained some of it back, but now in muscle. But I definitely want that wellness capacity to be shared, that, not only a weight loss journey, but also in a recovery journey as well. And some of the benefits of this barbecue that I'm having, this is the 4th year I'm doing it, the funds are going to go to an adolescent drug rehab center. Some of the funds are going to go to the Athletes Are Human movement that the walkers are doing. And some of it's going to go to a local member's a local member in our sport. His life was taken too early by a drunk driver. And they're having an event up in Connecticut. Nick Stone's running it as a benefit. Denny DeMichael. So I have a lot of vendors and a lot of people offering some amazing services, from $50 to $1,200 in wellness services. So please check out that link above. I have everything in that link. Feel free to go ahead and take a picture of it, screenshot of it, whatever you need to do. Craig, thank you for joining me. You being a part of my story, me being a part of your story. This is just, like you said, we're all interconnected, man. You know, your vibe attracts your tribe, and that statement can never be any more truer with you. So thank you.
Thank you, man. Have a great night, brother.
You too.